two people out there that could be starting an incredible motorsport career and really taking that next step.
What I wanted to do was take them out of their comfort zone, because now it throws them in the deep end. They shouldn't be here if they're not taking it seriously.
The drive in ROKit British F4 for next year is worth £450,000.
Looks once again to the inside and commits to it. On the inside into one, but that is brave move now, really.
Those sort of opportunities don't come around all too often, unfortunately.
Missed out by 1,000th of a second.
I just threw away my entire future.
Never wanted something so much for him in my entire life. He needs this because it's the only thing he has.
We are here in the broadcast center in Kemptal in Switzerland.
The purpose of race control is to have as clean as possible racing.
As we get underway for one final time, as they're all away nice and clean. Oh, there's been a bit of contact, he's already been sent around in the background.
The latest esports and the simulators you can actually have in your own home are becoming so real that it's not a bad place to start. Formula 4 is the starting point to get you on the ladder towards Formula 1.
We're seeing superstars being made for the future. It's incredible.
Previously on Racing Star, there was lots of drama and excitement in the Sim finals. Monica Bolton-Ramos wins the second race, the Bolton final.
I just threw away my entire future.
Massively wide there from Dylan Warren, way too wide, and that is a massive mistake. As we eventually discovered our two winners, Monica Bolton-Ramos and Deegan Fairclough. However, it's now time for the hard work to really begin. This is where the training starts, as that drive in the British Formula 4 Championship is not a given. They still must prove they have what it takes to race. For Deegan and Monica, there was a chance to head to Brands Hatch to experience the final round of the 2022 British F4 Championship and get a flavour of what they'll be racing in next season.
So we're here at Brands Hatch for the last race weekend of the year, British F4, and the plan is for Deegan and Monica to start getting involved with the team, introduce them to the guys, get them to know everyone, and really show them how we operate, how a race weekend operates, give them a bit of a taster of everything, engineers, mechanics, drivers, driver coaches, things like that. Just make them feel part of the team, ready for their first test day with us. It's a really good way of just showing them how we operate, what we do, seeing how it all runs really. Just a race day, the timetable, things like that, being on time, seeing how our drivers act, and just really immersing them in the atmosphere and getting used to it. If you're not from that environment, it's a big eye-opener, so just to see how it all works, just is a great head start for them to be here. So.
There was also a chance to get up close to a Formula 4 car, the very machines that they'll be racing in 2023.
Okay, so this is one of our cars. This is basically what you're going to be driving next year. This is Alex's car from this year, which is leading the championship. This is where you fit in, basically. We mould the seat around you. When you come in before your first test, you'll have a seat moulded around you. The pedals are all adjustable, steering wheel's adjustable. It's your car. No one else drives it, it's all you. You're the bit that makes a difference. We give you a fast car and it's up to you to keep it at the front. This year their F4 car had the halo on. It's been a really good improvement, a bit of extra weight, but they made up for it in other areas. Little Bath engine in the back, 1.4. There's ways of driving it that's better, we'll teach you that. Teach you everything you need to know in the office, driving styles, etc. And looking forward to getting started now a bit.
Then it was time for a quick lesson in aero and car setup.
Starting sort of aero-wise, the most obvious thing, so we've got the rear wing, and basically we have a whole number of different settings, and you can see here where we have holes. Basically all we need to do is just move the bolt, and that lets us change the angle of the rear wing, and obviously more angle, more rear downforce. Then going on to sort of geometry of the car, when it comes to the alignment settings, you can actually have a fairly significant influence on the car. So you've got toe, which is your angle of the wheels like this, camber, which is like that, and you can add shims in here. Basically more shims means less camber. The other thing then, which sits under this box here, we have basically a range of springs that we can use. So that's another thing that's really good for balance. If the driver finds they're getting a lot of understeer or oversteer and it's consistent across various speeds of corners, you can adjust the stiffness of springs. Like I said earlier, Manuel on Eduardo's car, he experimented with a slightly different setup in FP1 and it produced a bit more oversteer. So what we can do now is if we just have a look at the data, I can show you like what change that actually had. And then he went back.
It's completely different. I mean, this is proper. It's now feeling so real. On the sim, you don't get all the feeling of this, and the spectators, the amount of people that are actually here watching you racing, it's just unbelievable. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's just a really big atmosphere, loads of people who are really enthusiastic about racing.
We help each other along the way, so we're just hoping we can get the results now next year and put in the hard work and everything we've been training for comes out well next year.
I've never had a teammate before either, so it'll be interesting to learn, you know, what Deegan's doing compared to me and how I can improve.
There's only one way to really assess them. That's to put them in a car and send them out on track. So Deegan and Monica head to Bedford Autodrome. Before they were allowed to go in a Formula 4 car, they were given the chance to try out a slightly less powerful GB4 machine run by Hill Speed Racing for their first experience of a single-seater racer.
Hi, nice to see you. Buddy.
Today we're at Bedford Autodrome.
Hi Monica, I'm Richard.
We're doing taster sessions for two drivers who have won the driver championship.
Richard,
hi there.
Looking after you today. Welcome to your first day in a race car.
Super excited.
Yeah.
For a driver, it's going to feel quite alien getting into a single-seater for the first time, although they will have done maybe just on the simulator. But the first step into a single-seater will feel quite different from them. So at that, we need to get the driver sat comfortably in the car, being able to reach the controls, the pedals, the steering wheel. We don't have a gear change, it's a pedal change that's on the back of the wheel, so it's just the pedals and the wheel. Get them comfortable in the car and then be able to run through the controls of the car with them.
The main thing we wanted to get out of Bedford really was, are they competent enough to drive a real car? Can they take on board advice? Do they have, I would call it, some natural competency to sort of use that and actually develop? And that were the main sort of basics really to take from those days.
We can adjust the pedals just to get them exactly.
Deegan, it was obviously a step, but you know, he has driven a car, so he could go driving. That wasn't too much of a challenge for him. I think with Monica, without sort of sounding negative or doubtful, we were sort of unsure how she would take to it, because ultimately it's a noisy car, it's physical. You know, with her, I think it was a massive sort of day really of experiences and raw emotion.
So for Ollie Oakes, the man with the task of turning these gamers into racers, there was a lot at stake at this test.
We don't rush this procedure. We use several hours of getting the driver here, get them into the race kit, select a seat from our extensive selection of seats that we've got, and then from there we'll build the controls around them.
Pedals would have to probably go back a little bit more.
Yep.
I feel like my weight, my ribs aren't protected much.
Right. You get the driver sitting comfortably, and then you bring the controls to the driver, move the pedals towards the feet or away from the feet if they're too cramped, and the same with the steering wheel.
Wheel doesn't need changing, that's perfect. Arms outstretched in front of you, across them, over the top of the wheel. Wheel needs to come to probably the largest space that we can put in. That's right. If there's any pressure points or anything that you can feel sticking in you, talk to Charlie and then we'll look at sorting it out for you.
So what are you expecting to be the biggest difference between going out on one of these and being on a sim?
How physical it'll be, the G's, I think will be a lot different. The brake can be a lot harder.
If the brake was about there, is that better? or is that still not far enough?
Yeah, well, I'd say that's a little bit further back.
Right, okay.
Are you sticking with that seat, Deacon?
Is there any chance we could try it just in case?
Yeah, we can try it, no problem at all.
Before they go out on track, it's crucial to get everything correctly set up in the car.
Just going to adjust the seat to another one, just see if that feels a little bit more comfortable for me to drive out on track.
Does it make a big difference, the seats?
Yeah, it definitely, you do get pains if it's not to the right fit. You do get pains if you're not sat properly anywhere. So making sure you are comfortable in the car, you can drive much better and comfortable and confident. Snug fit, just pedals have to move back a little bit, and yeah, can't wait. Just get driving on the track after quite a few months now, so.
To start the car, it's main on.
As Monica prepared, her parents were nervously watching on.
She looks very happy and excited.
Having a chance to drive a proper race car is what she's always wanted to do.
She looks really confident and
really happy.
So it makes me feel relaxed, and it's obviously scary.
Only if there's a fire and you're at risk, press this button. That's your extinguisher. Yeah, that'll stop the car, so you don't need to switch the car off. That'll stop the car and set the fire extinguisher off. Yeah. If you're not at risk, pull the yellow tabs, pull that off, turn your buckle, get out. Yeah. Don't worry about the car. Yeah. Just get out. Okay.
Before the testing, both Monica and Deegan headed to Motorsport UK's HQ in Bicester for a briefing on how their training programme should go.
We're going to sit them down with one of our performance managers. They'll have an individualised, tailored performance development plan, and the emphasis and resource will very much depend on which areas of performance they really need to focus on. For example, if we know that they have a lot of experience in real-world driving, we'll make sure that the other areas of performance that we might need to uncover. Monica is one of our Racing Stars winners.
Congratulations. Very exciting. Well done. The programme for Racing Star is going to be focused on 4 areas with these 2 drivers, which is the technical, obviously that's fundamental to be successful in racing these days. Tactical, so learning about racing skills, learning about how to actually compete in the real world. Physical, there's no question whatsoever, you need to be physically fit and strong to drive a competition car at any level. And then finally psychological. I mean, the psychology of being a successful sports person I think has been pretty well understood now, that an awful lot of it goes on in your head, and so to be prepared, I think particularly for these 2 winners who are coming out of sim racing and in a very accelerated way are going to be going into a competition which is populated by some of the best young drivers in the world.
In terms of your driving technique, qualifying, what sort of self-reflection do you do when you've been racing before? Is it purely just yourself, or is there any forms that you use to analyse your own driving?
There's not really.
Today was literally just a catch up, and it was like developing on how we're going to approach the team and how we're going to prepare for next season, which was very interesting and very good to hear, and I'm super excited.
First thing, one of the most exciting things about being a racing driver is the first time of the season, new team kit, and that is your Motorsport UK Academy kit. You should wear with pride.
I think everybody is realistic that there's going to be some bumps along the way, but that's not unusual in any driver's progression at that sort of formative stage at their career. The main aspects is to remember that if we prepare, the harder we can prepare before and away from the track, the better prepared the drivers are going to be when they turn up, and really that rate of learning is going to be accelerated.
Again, it's one of the benefits of going to the race team nice and relatively early through the process. And
we identified where my weakest areas were and then talked through them of why they're weak, and also my strongest points of why they're so strong. I think my strength is more my racecraft. I can always try to position my car my cart where I want it to be and that benefits me in situations. But also my weak points are more obviously physical fitness and also just understanding of a car and setup. With rentals, I've been given a car and you have to drive it. Whereas now I can fine tune it to how I want it, and there's a lot more to learn, what to focus on, and maybe I don't need to put as much focus on.
At Bedford Autodrome, it was finally time to get out on track. We saw that Deegan's mum, Sian, got anxious even when watching her son in the sim races at the University of Bolton.
No, it's just nerves. I can't go in there. I can't. I don't. Yes, and it's so good out here because you can't hear the commentator. So yeah, that's why I'm out here, because I'm wearing out the floor.
So watching him go out in the car could be even more stressful.
Yeah, I suppose he's just gonna take it out for a little test drive, isn't he? So that's fine. It's not racing. It's not competing for a massive prize or against people. He's just gonna have his first time in an F4 car.
Very confident.
Yeah, he's been itching to get in one. You've got to think he hasn't driven all of this year, so it's now his time that he gets to drive.
So we went out earlier today, we did about 5 laps just to do some reference laps, some data so you can look at when you get back in.
What kind of lap times did you do?
So 1:11.9 was the time we did in those 5 laps. But I wouldn't focus on that, it's going to be about getting you up to speed, just enjoy it, and naturally you're going to get quicker to it anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
Just as everything looked good for Deegan and Monica to hit the track for the first time, the good old British weather decided to add to their stress levels. Bedford Autodrome is one of the UK's best track day and test facilities, and it's used by lots of teams to help prepare their cars and drivers before they go racing.
This is your first ever time in a racing car, you're only going to get this once, so enjoy the experience and the feeling of it.
You start to pull the clutch up, you want to know how much throttle you need to give to get yourself going. But don't be afraid, a bit of confidence with it will get you going.
Once the car starts moving a little bit, try to just keep feeding the clutch out, don't just jump off it. Because it's that second phase when it tends to want to stall. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
When you're ready.
So clutch down, green.
Clutch down, yep.
There you go, now in first. You have it there on the Delta, that tells you. Clutch in.
So a little bit more revs.
The sharp racing clutch was proving tricky to get to grips with.
Just go on the clutch. Once you pull first, just super slow.
Deegan has already done some club racing along with his dad. So, with a little practice, he quickly got the hang of it. For Monica, though, it was proving an issue.
More power, it's alright.
They work more like a switch and are pretty unforgiving, especially to a novice. In the end, though, she was up and running.
Loving life, yeah. He's so lucky, isn't he?
The conditions, though, were quite tricky for a first test.
I bet you're absolutely grinning from ear to ear.
Monica was finding it hard to judge the grip levels of the car at speed. Unfortunately for Monica, the spin left the car beached at the side of the track. She was getting a little frustrated, but determined to keep pushing herself. At High Tech had a few early concerns about Monica's height.
I'd say she's on the small side, and we're going to have to do quite a bit of work. But honestly, at the age she is, people change so quickly in a couple of months. And chatting with her, she seems awfully committed. That I think as long as we put the right sort of program around her, I don't see why she won't be ready. I mean, obviously that will require some buy-in from her and pushing through some tough moments, but she seems really up for the challenge, so I think it'll be quite interesting. Yeah.
First time in a car.
I like the little wheel.
First time in a car. No nipping out and doing a bit of driving with Dad or anything like that.
When Monica came in, it was clear she'd enjoyed her first time in a single-seater.
Too much power or too much brake?
Power.
It's alright. Everyone does that.
I was on exit and then I got stuck in the grass. Tried to get it going and it wheel spin.
And when Deegan came back in, he couldn't stop smiling.
How'd you find first time in a single seater?
That is mint.
Yeah.
He's lively. Yeah, that is fun.
Very responsive, isn't it?
Yeah, no, if you just get that little bit of throttle wrong, it just wants to twitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is absolutely mega. That was so fun. That was so
Wait till we put on slicks.
Oh my god, yeah. Still quite damp. Yeah, it's quite damp on the track.
Fine.
That is so fun. That is so good. I enjoyed that a lot.
Good.
Yeah, she's lively.
Noisy? Noisier than you thought? Or?
All in all, it had been a successful first step into real-world racing for our young gamers.
The turbo.
Yeah. This camera is just like right in the way.
Is it?
Just a little.
It won't be there.
Monica didn't complain, mate, so you ain't got an excuse.
This is an incredible opportunity for Deegan and Monica, as probably 10 years ago this competition would have been almost impossible. But esports racing is growing fast, and the links between the virtual and the real world are getting ever closer.
I suppose traditionally, when people thought of motor racing, they thought of, well, you had to start in kart racing and go through all the different disciplines, and you finally get to drive a Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1 car. But more and more, esports are playing a significant part in this. You've only got to look at the way that Formula 1 teams operate with simulators and the amount of work, time they spend in simulators to understand that. And the latest esports and the simulators you can actually have in your own home are becoming so real and so competent now that it's not a bad place to start.
Esports is huge, I think throughout lockdown there was a real surge. I found myself watching esports on TV, but it was great, exciting racing, and I think that was the scene was set really. So esports is continuing to grow.
Nothing's going to beat real racing on a real racetrack. However, the stakes are getting higher, the prize pools are getting higher for sim racing now, for esports. It's been proven before, the guys are going from esports to the real world. Lando Norris, example, he's a sim racer. Max Verstappen, they're Formula 1 drivers, so the skills do transfer. It's just going to get bigger and bigger the more exposure that it gets, and this will go some way towards that.
Hugh Chambers from Motorsport UK was at Brands Hatch and wanted to catch up on our duo's progress.
So, what's the next step for you in the programme? What are you planning on doing next?
well, Monica's got a fitness day with, well, a day with high tech.
Half fitness, half driving.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
So we'll catch up with everyone, and then I think the next step is probably getting in the car.
Yeah.
Actually testing our cars.
So you've already had a test in a single seater, I believe. Yeah. How did that go?
So fun.
Yeah?
You just want to keep going round and round and round. You know, they call you in, it's like, I want to do one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so much fun to drive.
And so the next stage is, I believe, you're both going to be involved in private tests and then possibly getting the rookie test, the team test in a couple of weeks' time. So what are you hoping to achieve from those tests?
Just proper testing with the team, like not just going round and round and having so much fun. It's more like more serious, so we can perform well next year.
Yeah, it's more to get a feel what it's actually like being with the team. GB4 as well. We weren't pushing to find the maximum of ourselves. We were just kind of more fun than really anything.
Yeah.
So it'd be just interesting to see what it's like to be with a team to push at my maximum.
No, listen, fantastic that you're here, and a lot to do over the winter, but best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next time.
The ARDS test is the key element to racing. It's that crucial.
Deegan and Monica finally get the chance to get in a Formula 4 car as the pressure of testing ramps up and their racing debuts draw ever closer.
If I don't get it, then I can't race.
This is not a quiet Sunday afternoon drive with a few mates. It's a hugely competitive championship.
I'm Deegan Fairclough, the winner of the inaugural Rocket Racing Stars competition. I'm now racing in Formula 4, fully funded by Rocket. If you want a similar chance, look out for the next Rocket Racing Stars competition coming soon.